All right, guys. So this is the Civ draft. You look on the left-hand side. This is the Max, who has not changed his name. And I will explain as this goes on. So they get 4 bands each. This is Viper on the right-hand side. So Max, Viper. Kind of opposite of our scoreboard here. And these are global bans, which means that these are civilizations that will not be seen at all on this best of 7. There will be 8 of them. So 8 civilizations banned. And then they have to pick all different civilizations from what they have left. So Celts banned, Ethiopians banned. And this is where mind games come into play, because you might know that one player prefers certain civilizations after watching the previous rounds of the tournament. I find the bans extremely interesting from Max. If you remember yesterday, Hart banned all the Mesocivs right away. And I think Max has some success with the Mesocivs, so he personally might not want to ban them. Amen Blackfire, thank you for the 2 months. Thank you for coming back, guys. To everyone who subs today, thank you so much for supporting what I do. And I will do shoutouts in between games because of the hype of the tournament. I don't get these bans. The only ban that I was expecting was Ethiopians here. Yes, they do see what the other person has banned. And what the other person has picked. So what we are seeing right now is exactly what they see. Yeah, Spirit of the Law is no longer going to watch the stream. I mean, I imagine Berbers would be banned. I imagine Indians would be banned. Or any Mesociv, like Aztecs, Mayans, Incas. The bans made a lot more sense when I was watching Hart and Leary, I'll tell you what. But maybe they want to involve those civilizations. Maybe it's a gentleman's agreement to involve some of the newer, stronger civilizations here. Well, Max really left it to the last minute there, the last second. He's chosen Mayans, and let's see, Viper going to choose Incas? Or is there going to be a Mesociv in here? This is where it gets interesting, because if they want the Meso-civilizations, Max would have gotten the first pick. Viper did not ban Incas. He banned Franks. So they obviously think that these civilizations they have banned, they're not comfortable against. And look at that. See, Viper had an opportunity to ban Incas globally. He knew Max was going to get the first pick, and that's the first pick that Max gets. Viper loves his Malians. Did not waste any time there. And he's gotten the Berbers as well. Now, all 4 of these civs now that these players have chosen, even the 5th one, these are civs I thought would be in the ban list, but they were not. Surprising stuff, and they're not wasting any time getting their civ picks in. They know what civs they want. Now we still have the Malay left, which is strong. The Magyars, which is very strong. The Vikings, still strong. Yeah, there's Vikings, Malay, and then Britons now for Viper. And Magyars, yeah, okay. Maybe he let the Max get Incas so he could get show Malians. Maybe. Chinese, we saw Chinese be successful yesterday for Leary. Japanese are a pretty good civilization. The reason they're good at this level is because there's a lot of versatility with their tech tree. They save a lot of resources with the cheaper lumber camps, mills, and mining camps. And at a newer player level, you're probably not going to be able to take advantage of the Japanese like a pro can. All right, Italians then for Max. What will be his last pick? I kind of want to see Goths, but I doubt we're going to see it with the civs that Viper has there. There's very few civilizations left to choose from. I hope he does not... Oh, he's going with Turks! What? Oh, he's chosen Turks. That is kind of surprising, I'm going to be honest. Because all the civs left are somewhat one-sided. If you choose Spanish, then they are normally forced towards Conquistador and Knights, and they don't have much options to trash civs. And Spanish for Viper, yeah, okay. So Turks is something we rarely see in a top-level tournament because they need gold to be successful. And yeah, we have seen it there. So now, we do not know what civ they will choose going into game 1. They were not choosing it for each game. They have those 7 civs to choose from, and they can choose whatever civ they want out of those 7 to start. So I'd like to thank you all for being here. The number of people that are here continues to climb. Once again, this is a 1v1 Arabia tournament. It is a best of 7 with 7 different civilizations for each player. Viper has worked his way up to the semifinals somewhat comfortably. He only lost 1 game in 3 best of 5s. So it was pretty simple for him. Max, it hasn't been simple for him, but it hasn't been simple for him because he has had the hardest route to this stage. He beat Lix, who's a top 10 Voobly player. He beat him 3-2. Then he beat MBL. MBL, top 5 Voobly player, I'd say. He beat him 3-2. Then he beat Slam. He beat 3-2. And, all those players, you can argue about what positions you think they're in, but they're probably all in the top 10. All of those players that Max has beaten, if you think rating matters, has been number 1 on the Voobly rating ladder. So, Max is the giant killer, the giant slayer, and he's from Finland, and in this community, we like to call that Winland. Can he upset Viper in a best of 7? It's going to be difficult because 7 games. If it was a best of 1, maybe. Best of 3, possible. But 7 games is going to be hard to best Viper. But we'll see. And whoever wins here today will meet Leary, who is waiting for them in the final, and that will be next weekend. We have about a minute, and then the game will start. I'm going to get some water, and then we'll do this. I'm a Max fanboy. I'm not going to lie. He does not get enough recognition, so that's why I'm a Max fanboy. A lot of top players have said this. He just doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't do anything crazy well. He just doesn't make mistakes, and he's overall a very solid player. Well, here we are. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 1 between TheViper and Max. Gonna quickly check to see. Yes, okay, we're gonna have Viper in the yellow because that's what he always goes with. Viper has chosen the Huns for his first game, and then Max is playing as the Vikings for this first game. So, as I just said leading into this, these two players have done very well in this tournament. Max beating 3 amazing players to get to the semis. Viper obviously beating amazing players as well, just not as good as you would have seen from Max. So let's look at the maps here to start off. And you can tell this is definitely a classic Arabia map. Just look at all the forward resources. Look how open it is for Viper. This is the map that can test the Viper. On the left-hand side, he has a wood line, and that's probably his only wood line. You know, if this was Game 4 or Game 5, Viper might consider calling a re, because just look at this. But what I see is he's laming a boar, and he ran right forward for it. I heard it. And now I see it. Viper going for the lane. Now, this would be a beautiful situation for Viper. If he's able to steal this boar, it's not a long journey for him. Max is going to try and block this scout. And Viper, he's a cutthroat player, but you don't normally see him go out to lane this early. What you need to do is you need to run your scout back and forth if you're in Max's position and try to take the boar out of the line of sight of Viper. But Viper just delayed his scout, and he's going to get this boar for free. Now, what makes this bad for Max from the very beginning is he's ran away from his own base, so he's not getting crucial scouting info. And if he wants to counter lane, the boars for Viper are on the back. And seeing as the boars are on the back for Viper, Max is going to have a longer journey. And I don't know if Max is going to go for the lane. Now they each get 1 re per set per best of 7. So you don't want to call it in the very first game, that's for sure. I don't think Max has even spotted. Yeah, Max has not even spotted those boars. So this would be the ideal location for those boars, but that is not the case. But anyway, quickly back to Viper's map. You know, Viper has the golds and the stones all in the same area of the map. So if he loses this main gold, he loses everything else. We're looking at Max's base now. Woodline on the left-hand side. He also has a lot of resources in. Oh, geez, look at this. That's his main stone and gold there. This will certainly be a map that will test the players. But the good thing for Max is he has a couple woodlines he can choose from. That is not the case for Viper. And Max can make up for the loss of the boar by luring in a few deer. They're in a nice position. The Viper has weakened his scout, of course, so whatever he ends up doing later on, he'll have a weaker scout. And he's just mainly trying to damage his opponent, steal some extra food there. And a very cutthroat start from Viper, I must say. Justice for Pluto, thank you for the sub. GR8 the Mista, thank you for the host, Mista. I know that you were probably playing Age of Mythology or Age of Titans. Mista is an expert in those communities. And I played a couple games versus him. It's good to see him getting games in Age of Empires, and hopefully his viewers can get some excitement out of watching the best player in the world here in Viper versus Max, who has, as I'm going to say, time and time again, been the Giant Slayer. We'll see what he can do in game 1. Max has actually come back from a lot of disadvantages as well in these sets of games. He went down 2-1, I believe, in... Was it every single series, chat, or 2 out of the 3? He knows how to come back when he's behind. And as Vikings, normally you would see some sort of drush, or maybe we would see man-at-arms into archers then. And the versatility of Huns will show here for Viper, because Viper can do whatever he wants. We see a lot in Huns Wars. We see drushes into archers. We see drushes into fast castle. We see the scout rush. We see the tower rush. We see the trash forward. There's so many options for a Civ. It does not need to build houses and has a very open tech tree. And I'm surprised Viper's going for the drush here. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to stall Max's economy even more. But Max has lured in what will be 4 deer now. And with 4 deer lured, after he gets Loom, he's going to be on his way to feudal age. So Viper needs to do some early harassment here. Now, this would be the time for Viper to do the damage. This is just when Max is getting Loom for his villagers. But Max doesn't know about this just yet. Now he sees it. This one villager is exposed. Going to wall in the dude. And she's going to have to run away. Max on the way to feudal age. And this is a position where he is trying to make military to go and attack Viper's base in the feudal age, where he will have more upgrades. But the drush is just here to distract. Viper committing to staying in the Dark Age for a little bit longer. And already a small victory, because if he is going to be up against man-at-arms, it'll take longer to create those units and to get those upgrades, because there's only 1 vill on gold for Max and not 2. A Viper back at home. He's placing the walls, and I assume he's going to click up. This is not going to be a drush fast castle on a map like this. This is going to be drush for early map control, then click to feudal, and then probably archers. The question is, has he done enough? If he gets a trade versus militia, now, this is the time to fight for Viper. This is a beautiful time to fight for Viper. This is before the scout from Max will get extra attack as well. Look at the micro from Viper to pull the weak ones away. And this is beautiful engagement for Viper, in my opinion. Especially if he gets Max's scout. No, Max going to keep his scout alive. But yeah, we wanted to see the upgrades. Max wanted to see the upgrades on these units, and that's not going to happen now. And what is he doing with these villagers? Knows he needs a response. I assume he's going to try and build an archery range, or is he actually going to go forward here? He's going forward. He is going forward. He's hesitated. He saw the stones. He saw the golds. The problem is Viper, he is going to have a strong economy. He's had more villagers working for a long, long time. And I think what Viper's going to go for is 2 ranges and skirmishers. You could see the wood he's banked up. He has not gone to gold. Max went from defending versus the drush to going immediately forward here. Now, if he denies this wood from Viper, I don't know if he scouted this, but if he denies this wood, it'd be huge. Now, Viper sees this. Viper knows he needs to tower preemptively to stop anything from going on here. And you know what? That preemptive tower could be bad for Viper if any towers that Max continues to build here can range the woodline as the game goes on. But certainly for now, it should protect him. Max's will go up, though. And Max is on the front with just 1 range. Viper's going to have 2 ranges, and you got to think Viper is in a better position to create skirmishers, which is what both players will go for. Viper can still hit the right side of his gold if he wants to get gold for fletching, which is what he's going for. He's just going to collect 50 gold so he can get fletching later on. This will be an easy start for Viper. He has to use the villagers for now, but he'll go right back to work on the deer. And oh, the tower's actually been denied. You know what? I got the range wrong. That's a huge win for Viper because Max had that tower at 80%. The tower has been completely denied. Now, the one thing is, as Viper sends a villager over to wall that off, he doesn't want it to go up. The one thing is that Viper cannot build any more towers unless he collects more stone, and all that stone is forward. But Viper just has so much military. You know, what Max is doing now is kind of a desperation move. He's sending the villagers back home after sending them forward. All they did was build an archery range, and he really doesn't have the resources to create a lot of skirms. And if he is, they're not going to be close to his own base now, which is where he needs them. So I think Viper will be patient here. This is actually a nice start to the engagement for Max, but still it's not going to be good for him, as there's just far too many skirms for Viper. And you know what? Max has a backup plan. He's built a stable here, and this is a very early stable as well. One or two scouts should force spears from Viper, and Viper will have to go back home then. But Viper's got a lot of good map control. He's going to have time to run back to his base once he sees this. And once he sees this, and he might even expect it, he still has his gold here. You can see now he can build a mining camp, and he might add in archers as well, which will make the scouts less viable. But yeah, for now, Max going to delay with his villagers, and they will slowly die, but they will not get one or two shotted. The Viper sees the stable. He just doesn't seem to care. He sent a spear forward. There's another spear around, actually. This is really good for Viper and really bad for Max, to be completely honest with you guys. Because Max, his man-at-arms didn't do anything. We saw this yesterday with Leary and Hart. The man-at-arms, they need to do damage early. You know, that's the one thing they're good at, and you're basically wasting that time window if what happens to Max happens to you. And Viper getting Fletching, still able to hang around here. Max doesn't want to take an engagement with all the spears. And he's going to need to send back his own skirms. Again, it's inconvenient to send your army backwards, but these skirmishers are here for the spearmen. If he can kill the spearmen, the skirmishers for Viper will struggle. And Viper knows that, so he's having to run around and around and around. And I think Max will clean this up. I really think he will. He's going to clean this up. Even though there's fletching for Viper, Viper's going to have to run away. The spears are now down. There's still 4 scouts remaining. Let's look at what Viper has back home. And yes, he has the archers, and he has another spearman. So that at least has bought Max some time. However, it's never ideal to have a forward military building and have no forward map control. So, at this stage, Viper should be feeling very good about himself. He has so many resources banked up. No pressure on his base at home when he has an awful map. It takes some confidence to do the drush into early feudal, because if you miss your opponent's man-at-arms, you could be in big trouble, delaying your feudal time, but Viper, he did not miss it, and this has been perfect from him thus far. And now he's going to force Max away from his wood. This is a really bad area for Max, because he doesn't want to fight in this small choke point. He's basically trying to mass his scouts, so he's in a position where he can fight this. Viper, again, not interested in actually killing units here. If he gets a kill, that's a freebie for him. But he's not here to kill units as much as just delay the economy and keep the pressure off his own base. And oh, he got one. And this is an army that Viper will probably... He got another one. That was just messy from Max. This is an army that Viper will probably lose. Just a matter of how much value he gets out of it. And he's gotten some great value there with 2 Vil picks. And here come the scouts now. No upgrades on these scouts, but this army will die. There's just not enough archers for Viper. So Viper's going to try and trade them versus the enemy skirmishers, because he's still going to be creating archers at home. Kill as many scouts as he possibly can, but Max is most certainly behind in this game. He's created a lot of scouts, and now Viper, he has the archers massed at home, and we know about Viper's micro ability. So he's just going to mass archers. The scouts have no upgrades. He can micro those scouts down. And he's going to wait for Castle Age. I love how this villager is collecting a shorefish. I don't know if Viper forgot about her. It seems like it's an intentional move. I love that. Now this is the time where Max needs to take a fight. He needs to take it now, because Viper needs to upgrade these units for maximum effect. So if Max can get around here, somehow cause some harassment, kill some villagers, the skirmisher scout combo can work, but the clock is ticking for Max in game 1. Now, I did see Max went to stone at home. I don't want to look back there right now, but he could be planning for defensive towers. because he expects the archers. He still has the map advantage over Viper. Both players have messy maps. It looks like you got the maximum effect upon Canadian Ninja. No one else did. But basically now, Viper just going to hold, hope that these walls don't get battered down very fast. And then he's going to add knights and crossbows. And knights, of course, the best move versus these skirmishers here. Not a great situation for Max, and this is the time where he would need to be aggressive, and here we go. He's going to build a tower now. I don't like this tower. I don't like it. He could have built it right next to his skirmishers here. I do not like this tower at all, but maybe he's hoping that it'll give him an easier location to build the next tower. I just don't know. I don't get that tower. This would be the better area. It would range the gold. He's actually killed that archer range. I'm pretty sure he just wasted Viper's wood there. Let's see. Yeah, he killed that archer range and now he's in. And this tower's up. A Viper cannot build any more towers. A Viper gonna quick wall and he's gonna rely on his knights and his upgrades. This is a very, very dicey moment for Viper. But I can't help but feel that if Viper sends out knights, he's gonna clean all of this up. So Max needs to go back, and that he has done. But with this tower now, this tower will deny Viper's gold. So Viper's probably going to need a market. Now, Max, he needs to buy himself time. He's just taken away Viper's gold. He's taken away all of Viper's golds, actually. He needs to buy himself time because Viper knows that this army can't kill him because he has access to knights. The Viper is going to counterattack now, and Max is trying to stonewall quickly. It's so important that he gets this wall up. If he doesn't, it's disastrous for him. And of course he's not going to see it because he's focusing on so much going on here. And the two knights are in, and that will really hurt for him. He's going to have to send a lot of villagers into the town center. Now, he's just clicked the castle, so this is not over at all. He has stalled enough. A Viper's going to have crossbows and knights, though, so it's still not going to be an easy task for him. And there's a palisade wall here anyway, so even if that stone wall went up, this probably would have went down. And Viper, with Bodcanero on his crossbows, two knights. Max forced to build a tower on this wood line. He might need to relocate these villagers as well, because Viper could sit up on that hill. And also, Viper could tank damage with the knights and go underneath the tower altogether, so that's why that house is important for Max. But guys, I genuinely believe that Max is still in this game, and it did not look like he would still be able to be in this game. Oh, the pathing for those villagers! That's so bad. He needed to force down the stone walls. It's worth it to lose these vills. That was so weird how they ran into one another. Those are some huge losses for Max. But, you know, on the plus side, Viper's pushing away. If you were to ask Max, hey, at the 27-minute mark, you're going to be down 5 villagers, but you're going to have all Viper's golds and stones. He's probably going to agree to that deal. Towers will help defend versus any archers that might come in from Viper. And Viper is using this market, you can see at the top left, to sell resources. And he needs to push this back. He has actually purchased stone so he can build another tower here to defend. But Max is going to get his up. And this is just a player who does not die. A player who is able to bounce back from early losses here in Max. And he's given us a very exciting first game because I'm getting hyped already. Now, sure, Viper has a lot of military advantage, but Max has the resource advantage. Max has the map control advantage. And the more towers that get built here, the more difficult it will be for Viper. Viper cannot get upgrades on his knights without the gold. There's just so much he cannot do without the gold. Now, while this has tested Max's ability, this is definitely going to show us what Viper is capable of. Because this is just not good for him, guys. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The only saving grace for Viper would be if he had one of the additional golds like these here. Viper... You know what? As I say that, he might scout for that. But I don't think that's... Oh, what? Hold on a second. Okay, so this is Viper map packs. He's found this gold. It was my assumption that this was one of Viper's. This is actually one of Max's. So is 1, 2 of Viper's golds. This is the third one that he's on. So it's not near as bad a situation as I thought, noob caster. But still, that gold will not last forever. And now Max, he is in the castle age. Well, let's see what he can do here. He's still outgunned because the knight crossbow combo is better, and knights will chase down the skirmish, but the knights only having bloodlines, no defense upgrades. A Max back at home. He has Vikings economy, which is stronger. He has free handcart right now, so though he might not have the Vil advantage, he probably has just as strong of an economy. 2 TCs versus 3 from Viper, though. And Max also doesn't seem to have military that can really push right now. He's still waiting at building the monastery for some conversions. He has some spears to help burst the knights. He's adding another archer range. Yeah, he's archer ranges at home, and he's going to go crossbow. But I don't know. Viper, he doesn't have an army that is doing damage to Max's base. And Max would probably have the resources and the buildings to defend if Viper went for a counterattack. So, I mean, at this stage, Viper is basically building up an army where he can get this back at some point. Mid-flight Castle Age, he needs to be focusing on this. And like I said, the only other thing he could do is maybe scout for these golds, which he has not seen. Max has not seen. They're not scouting for that just yet. Max is aware Viper has a TC here. He is also aware that Viper has a monastery here. He must assume that Viper has some gold, and this would be the time for Viper to fight. Max having to run into his towers and just run away. Luckily for him, he was able to get away there. He doesn't have his crossbow army, which is at home, massed enough, and accompanying his skirmishers. So now the Mangonels become very important. The monks, basically every unit that they're using becomes very important. The skirmishers, they're there to counter the crossbows. But if Viper has a Mangonel or has the knights, then the skirmishers do nothing. But then again, if Max gets conversion with this one monk and gets one of Viper's knights or uses his own knights, he can kill the Mangonels. So, I mean, there's just so many different things to focus on. Look at the trap from Viper here. He's just trying to wedge his knights in between the walls to ensure that he kills these Vils. That's exactly what he has done here. A great Vil picks, and Viper's Vil count is rising over Max. Saying that, Max is pushing in on Viper's economy once again with some skirmishers. He's killed only 1 villager and he has to run away. Max just lost 4, I believe. A sneaky move from Max to try and get the tower up, but he has been denied for now. The Viper has his own monks, which are healing the knights that were just damaged by the towers. Viper really doesn't want to let more towers go up on his base. This is what Max can see. He sees the army pushing back in, and he's going to have to get back in this tower. Viper knows about the Mangonels because he sees his building is being attacked by them. And that is a lot of skirmishers and a lot of crossbows from Max. I would like to see a few more monks, though, because the knights just got chain barding for Viper. Viper can tank a lot of arrow fire with that last defense upgrade. Now, sadly at home, Max is trying to wall off, but he forgot about this hole here. I don't know if Viper's planning on counterattacking, but there are opportunities for him to do damage now that he has all these upgrades. You know, but again, Viper's getting a few relics and everything, but he will be out of gold probably around 45-minute mark. Max knows that. But still, Viper has the advantage now. He has a stronger economy. He has 20 more villagers. In my opinion, he has the ideal military, and he also has the ideal micro. He was able to pick off one of Max's Mangonels there. Now he's sending in the rest of his Mangonels. As guard towers research from Max, the Mangonels are all going to die to these knights from Viper. The question is it worth it? I don't know if Max was really considering a big push here. I think more so he's just trying to hold this. But that's a great trade for Viper because he didn't lose many knights. Just keep watching that gold count for Viper. If one thing is going to win this game for Max, it is pure map control. And this is why Viper is teching into Castle Age technologies. Normally you'd see a player like Viper take his Vil advantage to the Imperial Age, but here, no, he's going to get Elite Skirmisher involved, Battering Rams involved, Light Cav involved, and he needs to push this now. So both players are aware of what's going on. We actually see chain barding from Max. So as Vikings, he's going to be adding knights. But it's so important that he's doing that, because if he wasn't doing that, then he would probably lose this fight. The problem is he doesn't have the numbers here now. He needs to have these units here. He's not expecting Viper to push like this. And Viper coming in with the battering rams the first time that Max has seen this. And just look at the numbers Viper has, and look at the number of skirmishers Viper has. And the only form of military Max has here is ranged units. So those skirmishers are going to clean up. Viper is so close to getting his gold back. And Knights on the way for Max. They are not as good with Vikings. They don't have bloodlines. And just look at the military count. Now Viper, he's at 40 military. Sub 20 for Max. And Max will lose his towers, will lose his buildings. And this should be the fight that wins the game right there. Great play from Viper. Amazing play from Viper. I will say that I thought Max was dead. I thought he was going to be done. Had he not gone forward, this would not have been a good game. He did try, but he just didn't have the numbers in those fights. I think it would have been tough, but maybe, just maybe, had he had the Knights there, it would have been a bit easier. Or maybe 3 or 4 more monks. But you could look back to when Viper killed those 3 Mangonels, and had he not done that, all of his skirmishers that are out in the field right now would have gone down. A great play from Viper, but that just goes to show you that Max knows what he's doing. And probably a game that both players are not upset with themselves over. I don't think Viper's upset that he lost those resources there. He's probably happy they didn't need to use a read, to be honest. But yeah, I feel like Max also would be happy with his performance there. There's the units killed. There's the economy difference. Viper did actually collect more gold in that game. He could sell a lot more as well. All right. People saying Max should have dropped a castle. Yeah, I think dropping a castle would have been good, but he simply did not have the time for it. It's not easy to do that, guys. When you need to create so much military and your economy is behind, you then shift 8 villagers to stone, and your attack, your hold is that much weaker. Okay, so here's the payouts for the people that bet on the game. I will start the bets for game 2. I will update the scores. Welcome everybody to the stream. Quick shoutouts to Skycraft, Atomic Sausage, Nola Shorty, Gabba Player, Turk, and Tot Leiter, who came back for 3 months. Thank you for the new subs and resubs, everybody. All right, so you have 2.5 minutes to place your bets, chat. And let's get into the next game, shall we? Oh, we have about 60 seconds, chat. Again, if you're just getting here, welcome to the stream today. This is the semis of King of the Desert. Best of 7 between the Viper and Max. Viper did a really good job in that first game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second game between Max and Viper in this best of 7. I don't know. Technically, this isn't bugged, right? Technically, this isn't bugged for Viper, but I know Viper uses his T90 hacks and his grass hacks, his map hacks a lot, but he must have got the file wrong for this game, because check this out. Those 2 sheep are trapped there, and the deer he cannot lure. But anyways, that's the first thing I noticed. We'll start with Viper's base. Overall, this is a pretty good base for wood. Woodline on the left, woodline here. Has a gold here he can use as well. The stone is forward and the main gold is forward. So again, Viper having forward resources is not going to be ideal for him. I noticed this is just going to be an awkward start for Viper with the standard stuff. This boar's behind this wood line. This boar's back here. Just small things. The sheep's back here. That kind of sucks for him, but he is going to get the sheep. He just will not be able to get the Rudolphs there. And looking at Max's base, Max definitely needs a victory here. In a best of 7 versus the Viper, you never want to go down 2 games. You tie it up 1-1 and you regroup if you're Max. And Woodline on the back is the one he has gone for. And his base is definitely more open than Viper's. Forward main gold. He has his main stone on the left. He can do a lot with this for sure. He can actually wall here. And that secures all this space in the back. Maybe wall along the front here as well. But as you can see, more open spaces for Max. Won't make it as easy for him. Now the civilization for Max is an aggressive civ. He's the Malay. And Viper's actually chosen the Spanish, which I don't think is one of the strongest picks he could have gone for. But I think he's gone for one of his weaker picks because he's already up. He doesn't want to save Spanish till last if it gets there. So, talking about the civilization, Spanish is notorious for their man-at-arms and then their towers. And the reason being is all because, well, if they're not going conquistadors in the Castle Age, they're probably doing something wrong. So yesterday, we saw Hart just full stone wall and try and go conquistadors. A Viper, he does wall in tournament games. You never know what he's going to be planning. But it won't be easy to access the stone when it's this far forward. And also when he's versus a civilization that is known for their very, very early aggression and tower rush. The Malay advance to the feudal age 80% faster. So there's a lot you can do there if you're Max. And oh, Max even has worse boars than Viper. I didn't realize that. Should be able to get this one back without Loom, though. The deer might be able to help out. Yeah, that sucks for Max. Weird boar spawns for both players and the sheep spawns. But he knows how to deal with it. He's a big boy. We'll see what strategy he uses. Throughout the game, there's a gold somewhat on the back for Max and a stone on the right-hand side. So if he needs to fall back to it, he can. Also, he can use the cliffs to wall. His other gold is way out here. A Viper has one of his 4-tile golds in this location. And I love this location for Viper. If he's going to take gold, he might as well take this one. Just wall this in, right? Yeah, those are the areas on the map you need to focus on. If I'm casting and not talking about it, just pay attention to what position they are in the game, how long they've been on their golds. Because those extra golds are always a huge talking point. Then you talk about the 3-tile golds later on, which we didn't get to last game. But this is somewhat fair. This one's in the middle of the map, a Viper can find. This one's in the right-hand corner, so that would definitely favor Max. But you have to have a long, long game to get to that stage. Max has found Viper. Viper's starting some nice house walls just to protect his base over time. He couldn't do that last time because he was Hans. Max sees the gold and he sees the stone. And he's... Oh, geez. No! Oh my gosh. What great awareness from Max. That Borlore's still bad, but it kind of bugged around that straggler tree, which happens at times, and he saved it from being out here. That would have been awful for him. Viper's clicked up to feudal age. Max probably does not want to click up at this stage because he advances so much faster. He probably wants to go up on 24 population. Max did not lose a villager. If you look on the bottom left, you can see the kill-death ratio there. Stop scaring me, man. I'm trying to cover everything. I thought I missed something. And Viper is probably going with scouts. He's going to build his barracks here, which is odd, but he wanted to make sure he walled up his base. And he has done so nicely. Yeah, it has to be scouts, or he could just go full wall and never make any military. Honestly, just wall in the front, but that is not something you do at this level. And now Max is going to click up on 24 population. I don't think the overlay at the top right accounts for it, but you can see the times at least when they're going to be in the next stage, and you can see there's not a huge difference there. Max is going to have more villagers. And he has man-at-arms on the way. Max loves his man-at-arms, and he has 4 forward villagers. And I wonder why. I wonder why one would go forward when there's a forward stone and a forward gold here on a hill. I don't know. Max knows. Probably because it's easy to take those resources with a single tower. Viper... He's going to kill Max's scalp because Viper's in the feudal age. Max is not. And Max just has to take this fight because he knows he would have lost it anyway. And that's bad for Max because Viper's going scouts anyway. But what is Viper planning here? You can see... Okay, he wants to build more forward walls. Now he sees the man-at-arms. It is so important that Viper does not lose this stone. He does not have any other stone in his base. The other one's out here. Oh, and Viper's going to fight with villagers. He knows how important it is. You know what? That's the smartest move he could have done. And Max still hasn't researched man-at-arms. So nice move from Viper. Yeah, I think the The early time for the melee has hurt Max here. He doesn't have the resources for his man-at-arms. And now Viper's just going to go to stone and mass scouts. Oh, this is bad for Max, man. This is very, very bad. So bad. Villager's not doing anything. No man-at-arms. He's sending a forward spear at least. But this is not ideal at all. Oh, man. And, you know, Viper, he has more than enough stone now to build multiple towers. He knows he has the lead. And his villager's joining the fight still. And, oh, man, this hurts to see. Max going to lose a villager. A Viper even adding his own spear just to get some free hits on what Max has here. This is one of the worst starts we have seen from Max in this tournament, and Viper is just having fun with it, honestly. Now, I said that Max is going to lose a villager. He didn't lose there, but she's in there. She's on 1 HP, and Viper knows about it. And now Max is going to go for this tower, and Viper's building a counter tower. Viper's already walled up the front here. I guess there's a hole? Yeah, there's a hole, so those villagers can attack. Let's see. If Viper gets one hit with this chick on the female, that's one builder that Max does not have. Tower here for Viper, tower here for Viper, and geez, this could be the GG right here, honestly. This could be the GG right here, right now, because Max is taking some huge losses, and Viper is not taking very many losses at all. And now Viper's in a position where he can counterattack easily with his scouts, and Max's economy has been completely stretched this entire time. That is a very, very poor start for Max. In a game where he could not afford to have a poor start. Certainly it's a best of 7, certainly there's time, but now Viper calmly goes over to this gold. He knows that nothing can touch him right now because his opponent was going man-at-arms. And Max is literally going to have to run back home and defend for a while. And hope he doesn't take any big losses. And then maybe, woo by the way, maybe, just maybe, his melee advantage can get him to the castle age and he can still stay alive. But Viper's going to pick off this woman paying attention. As she's down as well. Look at the kill-death ratio. Viper with 7 kills, 3 deaths for him, and 8 deaths for Max, even though Viper only killed 7 because the wolf got involved. Now, I shouldn't say it's over, but what Viper's going to do now is stop creating scouts altogether and boom to Castle Age, most likely go for Conquistadors, distract with these 2 scouts. Max is actually going to do something very identical to that, and he knows he can't do damage, so he's going to defend with his spears. And the one saving grace for Max might be the fact that he can advance to the next stage faster. So if Viper's ahead of him, well, he can catch up because of the 80% faster time. But that's never ideal. Oh, so bad. I think I've seen Viper in the past go up on 25 villagers with the melee, because if you go up on 24, yes, that one villager makes so much of a difference, and you're not going to have the resources sometimes to keep your TC producing and get man-at-arms. So this is just the annoyance factor for Viper. It's also paying attention to what your opponent's doing. He doesn't want to take a fight here. He's looking for weak vills. Yeah, Max is aware. He's looking for the boar villagers from earlier. Distracting the TC fire. This is big for Viper. All about that idle time. Oh man, this guy. This guy. He's cost Max to garrison for about 4 seconds now. Every time Max goes to build a farm, Viper's going to try and snipe it. He didn't take any hits to his scouts. Let's look at Viper's resource. Oh, we're on Viper's point of view. Yeah, 650 food. He is ahead. Building the market to help out. Plenty of stone for the castle and Castle Age. Max is not too far behind, though. Gotta say that. And he is walling up a bit. This is still open down here. Max just can't go out there because of the scouts now. And he's gone a little bit heavier onto gold than you might normally see, so he can use this market to buy the food. He knows he's behind. Viper's clicked up. And Max might even beat Viper to the Castle Age. So with the melee, you're in a position to come back, ladies and gentlemen. And Viper going to lose his scouts now, just trying to kill an archer. He did weaken one severely. Max clicking up. All right, still got a game here. So I quite like Max's position with his unit comp. I like how he's going to be going crossbows versus the Conquistadors. Conquistadors are very strong. as single units, but they take a while to create. And the crossbows, especially if they get ballistics, because conquistadors don't get that, they can do a lot of damage. But still, it's obvious that Max simply does not have a lot of resources, so he can't add the second archery range. In fact, he's not creating any archers right now. He's definitely catching up. While Viper, he's safe back at home. He has plenty of resources. He's not going to go all in on one castle either. He will likely build this on the hill, get access to his gold, and then build TCs in the back of his base. He's done a really good job this game. I do fear for Max if he is planning on making crossbows, but I guess you could say, you know, crossbows might not really do anything. Do you want to defend with crossbows? Like 2-range crossbows? Or do you want to stay 1-range, go for the next town center, go for a monastery, and get a few conversions? I think that's what Max is opting for. Saying that, Max doesn't actually have the stone to build that second town center when he hits the next stage. Oh. He just bought it. So there's the second town center. Okay. The Viper's castle probably on the hill. Yep, on the hill, so that will protect the forward golden stone completely. Another town center. You know, a player like Viper, you rarely see him go all in and attack. You rarely see it unless he's desperate. Normally, he's going to have a strong economy behind his attack, and he does as much damage as possible while investing very little. And you saw with the scouts, that was basically free for him. But good start. Also going to get a monastery, which I believe is not just to heal his units, but to get the relics, because he's playing late game, and Max Max is going to have a militia here, so Viper's going to need to watch out. Both players play the late game very, very well. So the difference is that I think Max is not as fast and not as well-rounded in the early feudal engagements, but Max, at this stage of the game, because he's such a good team game player, he's one of those guys that is going to win games based off finding the extra golds and relics around the map. Viper, he's already on it. He's already on it. This conquistador is just a scout. Viper has a strong score lead, so he knows he has an advantage. He has a 2-vil advantage over Max at the moment. And I keep looking at the amount of resources he has, and it seems like it's perfectly balanced. Villagers in each TC creating, conquistadors creating, and he has the resources for the next town center. So this is cool, calm, collected stuff for Viper. And oh, he's going to build the next town center out here. I guess he can't go to this gold with the TC, right? He's going to TC this instead. And yeah, this has become a bit of a boom fest. Now let's see what civilization has the edge. HL Viper, thank you for the sub. And everybody else who's here today, amazing to have you here. Thank you to those that have subbed today. So this is an area of vulnerability for Max. The wood line could be sniped by conks. Also, this stone and this gold he cannot take unless he pushes out. He is going for the monks, as I said. He didn't even upgrade these guys. He didn't even get fletching on these units. And this woman is just debating the conquistadors. The T90 Babe did a good job, but Viper fast enough to run away. Those monks are not going to get conversions. Max's economy still on 2 TCs, and I think that... I could be wrong here. I think that Max is planning to stay on 2 TCs, go for an early imp, and try and hit Viper before he can get Imperial Age upgrades. That's what this seems like to me. But this is highly dependent on the monks, because Viper can mass so many conquistadors. There's 4 monks at home for Max. If he gets 4 conversions, he wins this fight easy. But if he doesn't, that's a waste of 400 gold. I think that if he goes for some monks and some arbalests, that would be a really strong push, but it's so hard to afford when he's going to be putting most of these resources into clicking up. He's very heavy on stone, which indicates he wants to go for a castle. And this is what he sees of Viper's base. He knows all about Viper's setup. And he probably can assume Viper's on 3 TCs now, which is why he's going for the fast push. But he might run into the same issue as last time, where he clicks up to the Imperial Age and he simply doesn't have the resources to do much. And if Viper wants to add his own monks, he can do so. Viper has the monks just getting relics right now. He's going to bring his 3rd one in a moment. And he's probably going to bring his fourth in after that. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Max did not expect Viper to show up here. Neither did I. Viper coming out of... Oh, my goodness. Viper coming out of nowhere. There was no reason for him to push forward. So that's why it was so surprising. Max is clicking up to Imp after taking all those losses. Of course, the spears and the archers were not going to offer much to him. But now he has to leave the gold. And geez, out of nowhere, Viper... That's big. That is so big for Viper. Because, like I said, the monks were really what Max needed. It was going to be difficult either way. It sounds like these villagers, some of the male villagers, when you click them, say, "Oh my god," and that's... Hold on. It happened, okay? That's exactly what they should be saying, because they just lost all of their priests. Viper has a lot of resources. Max is gonna be an imp soon, but what is he gonna have? He's gonna have monks. He will be able to get upgrades, so he can maybe pack a little bit more punch with his monks, get the conversions easier. Yeah, this is fine for Max. This is fine, chat. Hey, he's adding barracks, so he will probably go pikemen and monks. It still could work for him, but man, is he behind in economy. And he doesn't have any momentum going into the Imperial Age with a forward castle, which is what I thought he would have. Now Viper going to bring his own monks over, and he knows he's in a good position. Oh my gosh, he actually... That would have been funny. That villager kept the gate open for a second. But, ooh, the spears from Max catching Viper's monks by surprise. They're probably gonna die. Viper's still running around with his conquistadors. Viper's on his way to Imp. And I just can't help but feel that Viper is still in full control here. He has such a stronger economy. And, you know, Max is going for it. He has 9+3 range on the monks now. The conquistadors still only have 6. But Viper has the economy to add light cav if he wants. He doesn't have to stick with conquistadors. The economy is just so much stronger. And you know what? These monks have been healing each other. This is hilarious. They've been healing each other this entire time. They still haven't died. Look at this strength here. Look at this. This is the power of God, ladies and gentlemen. The Viper just going to delete his monks in the end. God decided it was time for them to die so they wouldn't go to the enemy team. But, jeez, never underestimate the power of monks. It's just about killing them. The Viper did that to Max earlier. Alright, well. Forward buildings for Max. He needs to go for it now. He definitely needs to go for it. That's a lot of monks. Illumination coming in. Block printing already in. Viper needs another unit. Now the interesting thing is, if Viper wants to add light cav for the monks, there's already pikemen for Max, so that would be the ideal comp. The monks and then the pikemen. But I think Viper will instead add a ranged unit that is not conquistador. He's just going to attack and elite skirm. Which normally when you have 1,000 resources of pretty much everything is not the best technology because it's trash, but here it makes perfect sense. And Max is going to go for it, ladies and gentlemen. The castle is forward. Viper sees that going up. Viper sees the monks. Viper sees the pikemen. He knows. And Max getting the last defense upgrade for his pikemen. And Max just needs to send everything forward now. These units at home, no bueno. Get them forward because it's going to be tough for you, man. Viper adding a Treb first thing. And he's going to have another castle up here. We probably should delete this archer range, honestly, but it'll go up. And he's just going to Treb down Max. So this is kind of a push you see in Arena at times. Completely different situations leading up to it. But essentially, you don't have a lot of economy. And the one weakness to your monks is if units come in close. So you're going to help use the castle as a form of defense there. But the bad situation for Max is he's going to lose his castle. I mean, he doesn't have much stone to repair. He doesn't have a lot of repair villagers. And Viper's just going straight to Trebs. The Viper is still using its conquistadors to try and catch out any of the reinforcements from Max. And you can tell both players paying attention to this. As Viper is just running around and around and around. Not even using his main force that he had in Castle Age in this fight. Keeping Max on his toes. And oh my gosh, Max. Did Max see that? Yes, Max sees the skirmishers. Sneaky move from Viper to send the skirmishers around. I love that move. They've been very sneaky this game. And the skirmishers do well against the pikemen. They also do well against the monks, so it's a brilliant move. And Max has his own trap, sure. But this castle's going to drop before he can even create the next one. And I think Viper... I hate to call it early. But I think Viper has the game. And yeah, it wasn't early because Max recognizing that he's just calling the GG. He would have lost the monks to the skirmishers. Here, this is a fight that Viper would have won. And it all really started when Max went aggressive and completely failed. It was not close. Viper did the right thing, brought the vills, built the early towers. And it's sad to say, but that really just came back to lack of resources from Max, which is something he probably didn't account for. The Malay civilization is hard to use because of the fact that you advance so fast, and I think that really bit Max in the butt there. Alright, well, here's the military stats, and that is very telling, but the economy stats are really what's more telling here. Viper was so much more eco. And yeah, another simple game for Viper in this tournament. The first game was much closer. That's really what it comes back to. I think that some players... Normally Max is one of these players. Some players just don't make many mistakes. And Max definitely made a mistake there. So here's the payouts. I'm going to do the bets for the next game, guys. You're going to have 2 minutes to place your bets. To those that have not seen this yet, let me update the score first. These are the civs they have to choose from. So this is Viper. No, I'm sorry. This is Max on the left. He has chosen Malay, and he has chosen the Vikings so far. So he can go Turks, Italians, Indians, Burmese, Incas. While Viper, he's chosen civs that probably weren't at the top of his list. He chose Huns and he chose Spanish. He still has very strong civilizations left. I think that's the right way to do it. You don't want to waste your good civs early on. And now Viper has 2 wins, and he has a lot of his more comfortable civilizations on the way. Ostrich, this entire tournament is Arabia, man. This entire tournament is Arabia. Alright guys, game 3 between the Viper and Max. Viper has chosen his Malians, and I think if Viper wins this game, it's going to be near impossible for Max to come back. Not only is he playing the Viper, but it's a best of 7, so if he goes down 3-0, he's going to need 4 wins in a row. Well, Viper did very well last game, but it was kind of due to a mistake, I think, from Max, and Max has chosen his Incas, and let's look at his map. I love the stone and gold locations. It'll be hiding behind his TC. This wood line's great. This wood line's great. And this wood line, not the best, but he doesn't really need that with the other 2 wood lines. Also, he has the deer in loreable position. And if he finds his sheep here, I think he will. Yeah, look at this. Scouting with his own sheep. If he finds the sheep, he may be tempted to go out and lame Viper then. And in fact, I think he's doing that now. So this is where I question as a caster. I really don't know. I haven't played in many tournaments myself, but when I did play in them, I was playing against much higher rated players. This is when I question whether Max really wants to do this, or he feels like he needs to do it, which is there's kind of a difference there. Because, you know, you're down 2-0, you're versus the Viper. You're going to go out and lame because you feel like you need an extra edge to beat the guy, not because it's something you're comfortable with. Viper, of course, lamed in game 1, but I think Viper would have been completely fine and in similar situations had he not lamed. And this is the risk you take. You leave your sheep exposed, and you don't find your opponent, and he was so very close to finding his opponent, but no, it's not going to happen. Look at Viper's base. Viper is stone in the back, gold in the safe position. Woodline here is great. This woodline's good to start on. And this boar sucks for him. This could be lamed, but I think he's aware of that. And he is patrolling around that area as Max is making his way over. So the reason Viper likes Malians, the reason I think Malians are actually the best civilization, arguably besides Berbers in 1v1s in the current meta, is because of... Oh, this villager getting attacked, that scared me. But it's because of the resources they save, because all wood buildings are 15% less. So what that means is, if Viper wants to go with the Drush, normally it would be 4 on wood, he can do 3 on wood now. What that means is he can build the barracks earlier. That also means that he can have a cheaper mining camp, cheaper mill, and that all adds up. Not to mention that they have the best man-at-arms rush in the game because they get that defense upgrade first thing in the feudal age. And then, I mean, it has great archers, so you're going to transition into wood units and buildings. So it truly is the mother of all civilizations. It is so strong. But Max has stolen the boar now. And Viper is aware of it, of course. And look where Viper is. Oh, geez. This could be so bad. It's after the 4-minute mark. So this eagle's going to die. This eagle's going to die. Viper has blocked it so easily. Oh, disaster for Max. Disaster for Max. But just solid play from Viper waiting for that, guys. I mean, he saw the boar was here earlier. He happened to send his scouter on this way. And then he saw the boar moving. And he goes, okay, well, it's going this way. There's 2 good choke points for me, and I can block that Eagle Warrior, and that he has done. And these are the sheep that Max didn't get earlier. So now Viper has an advantage. I'm actually surprised that Max didn't get those 2 sheep before he went for the lane, because he wasn't that far away from it with his scout. It goes back to what I said, though. I mean, Max felt like he needed to do something more versus Viper, and when you lame, it is a risky move. I also think that the Malians are a fantastic civilization against the Incas. They didn't know what they were going to choose going into this, but Viper guessing correctly that Max would go with one of his favorite civs. And no, Incas are very Eagle Warrior dominant in the Feudal Age and Castle Age. And if your infantry is the strongest infantry in Feudal and Castle Age that don't involve Eagle Warriors, then that's absolutely perfect for you. A Viper getting his boar a little bit late, but he should be feeling confident now. Max, he's going to need to step it up here. Going to go out with his 4 to gold, and this will be the standard man-at-arms into eagles. Now, I say that Viper has a really good civ for this, but if he takes a bad man-at-arms engagement, then it makes things interesting. Because the reason the man-at-arms eagle rush works for the Incas is because you go man-at-arms. Hopefully you win that engagement, and especially if you do, your opponent's going to add archers. And then you can add the eagles, which counter the archers. So the first fight basically determines how everything else will go with the counters. If Viper wins the first fight, Max might need to add an archer range, which is not ideal. And that would put Viper on more even terms because Viper can go archers himself. But if Viper loses the first fight, then that's really, really good for the Eagle Warriors from Max. I will say Viper built his barracks pretty late here. 2 lumber camps, 10 on wood, 2 going to gold. This feels like a man-at-arms build with the exception of the late barracks. Max already has his up and he's going to be creating his units. But, of course, one has to have faith in the Viper. Nice little walls again for him. Really can't be troubled at this stage. I'm thinking this looks like archers, which surprises me. It surprises me that he's not going to go with the Malian infantry to start. But the benefit of going archers is once you mass them, they can beat pretty much everything, and if you can wall your base up like this, it is perfect, and that's exactly what he's done. And you know what? He could have been using his scout here just to see. There were absolutely no man-at-arms on the way for Max anyway. Max has gone for 2 ranges as well. But imagine if Viper would have had man-at-arms here now. He could have killed these villagers. He could have gotten around to the gold. Could have harassed a little bit. But nope, straight archers for both players. Max has a small advantage with the production of those units. But the downside for Max is that he doesn't have an eagle to see when the army's coming. He doesn't have an eagle to even distract in the archer fights. He doesn't even know what Viper's going with right now. We can see it, but he can't. But luckily, he's kind of guessed correctly here. Had he gone man-at-arms, it would have been awful for him. His man-at-arms would have gone into the TC. Max actually leading in the military numbers, level on villagers. And though that was a rough loss for Max, he has the deer here to help him with the food, and this is pretty good for him. His base is also walled nicely. This is going to be more difficult to wall. A Viper had an easy wall off, of course, but certainly this is a map he can defend. Viper would have to loop all the way around here to do damage, and that's not going to happen at this stage, especially when Max starts building the walls here. Great Nitro says I deactivated ad block just for you. Thank you, Great Nitro. Oh yeah, I had a lot of new subs today. DPM, it's kind of slow now, so shout out subs. DPM, thank you for the sub, man. Actually, tier 2 sub as well. Thanks for the support. The subs, I rarely hear any discussion over ad block anymore because most people have ad block and we have a lot of subs and a lot of people with Amazon Prime, so I do appreciate you doing that. That being said, I'm going to be completely honest with you on Twitch. Ads don't really contribute to much, so you don't need to do that. YouTube maybe, but look at this. Small distraction from Viper with his scout. Max going to lose a villager. It's exposed. Again, Max just was unaware of where Viper's army was, and oh, Viper's going to kill a vill, and he's going to scamper away. If you watch Viper games, he never goes all in and wins a big fight all at once to win the game in Feudal Age. Rarely does he do that. He slowly picks away at his opponent. And kills one vill here or there, gets an advantage, and then forces the opponent to have to go aggressive, right? And that's the position that Max feels like he's in. And he's going to go for it now. Clutching for both players. Padded Archer armor coming in for Viper. A Viper regrouping with some of his numbers, and he's going to run back. Probably going to sit on this small little hill. And then it'll be difficult for Max to take a fight. But Max can now add in Eagles. It'll be difficult to use the Eagle Warriors without any defense upgrades, because Viper has a lot of archers, and you know how good he is in micro. Anomers, thank you for gifting the sub to Great Nitro. Yeah, Great Nitro. Now you don't get any ads on the channel. But yeah, I think that both players probably not looking to take any big engagements. Goes back to what I just said. Just killing a few archers here or there when you can. The real issue in an RTS game, especially Age of Empires 2, is there's a defender's advantage. So that's why it's so good to do what Viper does, where you kill a few villagers and force your opponent to come to you because you can produce your units closer to your base. And I don't know how Viper got that pick off because units were running away, but maybe it was weak and he did get a pick off. And, you know, by my logic, Max should have the defender's advantage here, but he wasn't creating anything out of his archer ranges, and this is annoying for him. He had to reposition the villagers. And Max doesn't want to fight this. He does not want to fight this. He doesn't have padded archer armor. Saying that he's getting the upgrade now. And Viper has a hill. And people are asking in the chat, hills do 25% more damage. So if you're firing on top of the hill, if you're Viper, you're doing more damage. And then Max would actually do 25% more, or sorry, 25% less output. So there's a big difference in the damage you do and take. But yeah, Viper, he doesn't really care. He doesn't want to sit on this hill all game. He also doesn't know where Max's army is right now, so it'd be wise for him to come back home. So many archers, and getting Town Watch. He wants to play it safe, and he's going to go to the Castle Age in a moment now. And Max doing the same thing. He used the market strategy so he could buy himself up faster. And if I were Max, I would build a second barracks. Build that second barracks and start spamming those Eagle Warriors, because this is where it gets interesting, guys. I talked about the strength of the Eagle Warriors. They're so strong in Castle Age now versus archers. And if Viper goes with just archers and tries to rely on his micro, sure, it can be good, but also it can be a risky move for him. I would absolutely love to see Viper add longswords, because we saw that from him when he was Huns versus Jordan 23. I'd love to see him add just 4 or 5 longswords to tank up damage. But so far, it seems like he's confident in the numbers he has, and he really does have numbers. Max has close to the same number, but Max has skirmishers, which he's probably not going to upgrade. Actually, he might. But anyway, he has 3 different types of units here, and he has to put upgrades into every single one. Well, Viper just has one bulk of archers, and he's going to rely on microing them. And he's going to rely on the fact that he can get ballistics earlier. Basically, everything you would want to build in the Castle Age, you can do so much earlier as Malians. Tuck says, I bought it again yesterday, but I can't play. Enjoy watching T90 official cast. Playing? No. Well, a lot of people. How many people are subbed to the stream and do not play this game. It might be more on YouTube, but there are a lot of people who just enjoy watching the game and do not play anymore. So you're not alone, my friend. All right, well, both players taking a small engagement before upgrades. Viper knows he has the numbers. He's been using his scout actively. This is the importance of a scout at this level. Remember when Max lost his? Well, Viper, he's been dancing all around this base. He hasn't lost any yet. There's not enough Eagle Warriors for my liking for Max. Max is going to build a TC right off the bat, though. He knows his economy is important. Let's see what Viper's doing at home. Yeah, there's the university. And that's cheaper to build. This army was cheaper to build. He's getting Thumb Ring, probably because of all the wood saved, which means he can fire so much faster. With Ballistics and Thumb Ring, this will be fun to watch. Viper and Leary are the two best players when it comes to micro in this game. And at this rate, we might see them in the final next weekend. He's even getting the armor upgrades. I mean, this is kind of unique. Viper is able to use the Malians as meso-civilizations were used in the past. And now Max is just simply unable to transition into anything. Like I said, he got Crossbow and Bodkin. Can't get Elite Skirmisher. Cannot get the Eagle Warrior upgrade. They're just Eagle Scouts. And Viper will get the Ballistics upgrade in no time. Because the other thing is they have the faster research times. I mean, if you look at the style that Viper's using and how he plays this Civ, it's kind of how the game should be played if you want to win. And this is a style that you could use without the Malians and still be successful. But with the Malians, everything that they have is just so incredibly strong for play like this. And you can see how fast these archers fire with Thumb Ring and how quickly they take the Eagle Warriors down. Now Max is going out on a counterattack. The problem is Viper's base is completely defended now. When you give up the map control like that, your opponent's going to make you pay for it. Viper going to shoot down a frickin' barracks here. It's like these crossbows benefit from the arson upgrade or something. Forcing Max to make another one. And yeah, Max is going to run back home. He's going to need to run back home. Also, it's tough. Normally I'd say that someone should go for a siege workshop, but you're looking at Viper with 40 crossbows with all the upgrades. So, does one or two Mangonels even give you anything when he can micro them down? That's not just Viper that finds himself in those situations where he can micro Mangonels, but certainly Viper. And now he's just going to kill farms. It forces his opponent to have to build farms. He's just showing his dominance over his opponent now, and this is where it gets interesting because still no Elite Skirmisher for Max. Viper just lost his scout. He was patrolling here, make sure he wasn't going to be flanked. And he was indeed flanked, and so he's pulling back a little bit. He still doesn't know what he's going to find. Now the Vil count is very even. 50 for Max, 51 for Viper, and Viper's not killing any villagers. 3 TCs for Max. His economy is not as balanced as Viper's, though. And that's because of the fact he's had to relocate villagers from this wood line. Losing a villager now, losing the farms. Viper maybe was sending forward a villager. I believe that was a villager. He's dead. I just can't help but feel like it's going to be difficult for Max to be able to get to Imp when his economy is surrounded like this. He would have to use the market. He still could take an engagement. Both players just looking towards the Imperial Age now, and if Viper wants to upgrade these crossbows, they're gonna need to be in numbers. Well, this is an area where Max could take a fight if he wants. Viper has ballistics and Max does not, though. Let's see how many losses Viper takes. Okay, he's taken one loss. Keep in mind, he's focusing on the other army at home. So, with Ballistics and Thumb Ring, his units just do not miss. He's gonna lose these two now, but look at the blue bodies around here. Still not the end of the world for Max. It's a little bit deceiving with the kills and the score because Max is not losing units he wants to keep alive, but now he is! He ran right into Viper's crossbows. Oh, that hurts so much. Yeah, that fight matters because that's the unit that Max wants to use, and that's the unit that Max wants to upgrade. Now, still, this fight didn't matter. It would have been better for Max had he killed these crossbows, but my point is Max will probably not upgrade those units. Not the best trade for him, and Max is behind. He's just now getting Bowsaw. Bowsaw is the Castle Age Wood upgrade, and that's just how stretched he's been, and he's fallen behind in the villager count, guys. He is 13 villagers behind. Viper just is making this look so easy. Let's be honest, this base was perfect for what Viper wanted to do. He's in this little corner of the map with 3 TCs. He has the stone. He has 2 golds. I mean, it's a really nice base. But he made it a really nice base. You have to be aware that that's possible. And if Viper has 7 range on the crossbows, TC only has 6 range. So Viper's just like, screw it. Let's go for the TC, shall we? It'll take a while, but we have nothing else to do. And I have to say, if you're Max, you're not feeling very good about yourself right now. The Viper even pulling away these 2 crossbows. He has a forward siege workshop. TC is being repaired. Believe it or not, the TC is being repaired. Absolutely unreal, but there's just so much military for Viper, and this is not even his final form. He's going to be clicking to Imp soon. He's going to be building a castle soon. This still is not what I would call an all-in Castle Age. He's just been going off of 2 archery ranges. He's just not taking losses. 31 kills and 8 deaths. Not taking losses. After Max lost those Eagle Warriors earlier, it really put him behind. You wouldn't think so, but it did. And I think Viper sees this now. He sees the Eagles coming in. Max trying to raid, but it's just far too late for that, man. He can't do anything. Like this here, what does that offer him? He's 30 villagers behind. He's defending back at home. If Viper gets in here, he's probably dead back at home. So, I mean, Viper has another large group of crossbows here where he can micro down these Eagle Warriors. He's not worried about a TC idle when he has 30 extra villagers. The first good shot from Max here we've seen in this game. The Viper going to lose his Mangonel. Well done, Max, to keep the TC alive. I guess you could say that it was a waste from Viper to be sticking around here, but I'd say that it's probably good to keep your opponent on the defensive. Force Max to make a couple extra units he otherwise might not have made, and delay the Imperial time, which Viper is already on his way to. And Viper, he sees so much that he can use here. He sees this gold. He's going to build a castle. He has this gold. He's actually going to build an aggressive castle on this gold as well. And if he wants it, he can go for this relic. Now, I will say, if there was one moment where Viper could slip up, where he could get a little bit too ballsy, this might be it. It's still gonna be tough for Max, because Max will not be able to see this castle here. But if Viper wants to go for a forward castle and it gets denied by the Mangonels and by the Eagles, he is in trouble. And yeah, look at this. Attack round from Max. But the Mangonel's going to die. Viper splitting away from it. Castle's going to go up. Eagle Warriors out of position. Oh, okay, these are the Eagle Warriors. Out of position for Max. And guys, I want Max to be able to do something. But as Viper just gets in the pond here, so he can't be surrounded by the Eagle Warriors. As he gets the castle... Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. The castle could be denied. You know what? The crossbows could also die to these Mangonels. Don't call it too early. Don't call it too early, self. Mangonel micro needed from both players. This is insane micro from both. Impressive stuff. Viper actually with the attack run here. He's killed the Mangonels. And yeah, there's the GG. Max knew he was behind. That moment was really the only moment where Max could have done something. And even still, he wouldn't have had the economy. Had Max killed all these crossbows, like let's say he lost a majority of his Eagles, right? And he traded favorably versus Viper with the Mangonel. And he had 2 Mangonels. And Viper... just surprising everybody, doesn't micro them, right? Loses everything. Viper's on his way to Imp. Max is not. Viper could have deleted this castle, built it back at home. Viper would have still won. So, that's just how far ahead he was there. I don't know what these guys were doing, but I can only imagine that they saw the hurt that was going on in their economy, so they decided to flee to new lands. Maybe Max can give us some insight on that. Sad, sad times. All right, well, here's the kill-death ratio. Again, one of those games where Viper does early damage and basically just holds it, right? He could push and win, but he wants to play it safe, and he wants to make sure that he does not take any big losses. Here's the eco stats. Viper is so far ahead. And technology stats. Max went for it that game with the lame. He went for it, and it was unsuccessful. We're going to have game 4 coming up. Viper is leading 3-0. And I'll remind you, because it seems like there's a pretty big skill gap between these players. This just goes to show you how good Viper is. Max, he beat Licks, who I've seen beat Viper in the past. He beat Slam, who I've seen beat Viper in the past. And beat MBL, who of course has traded games with Viper in the past. So Max is not a bad player. Max destroyed 3 people who were favored to get into the Final Four. And now Viper's in the Final Four, and he's showing them what he's made of. Comeback from Max. I mean, how many people would love to see a comeback right now? I don't even care if you're a Viper fan. That would be historic if that were to happen, but I somehow doubt it. Mr. Loney, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome everybody to the stream if you're just getting here, watching this amazing game between 2 amazing players, and thanks for the support for the cast. So Viper is winning 3-0 right now, and he's gone with his favorite Britons. He's in the yellow as always. And then Max has chosen the Burmese. And to be completely honest with you, this is another game, another example where Viper out-civs Max, in my opinion. I will talk about that later on. Oh yeah. Sorry, chat. I will do the bets for last game, and I'll give you 2 minutes for this game. So let's talk about the maps first, then we'll talk about the civs. Viper, with another map that will test him. This is somewhat similar to his very first game, where it's open on the front, something he couldn't wall, and if he did wall, it would wall out his golds. So this gold is going to be tough. His other golds are way out here as well, and then he has a stone there, and he has this wood on the back, but that's about it. I mean, that is just something else. But it's a map the Viper would probably call a re-on if it was 3-3. But seeing as it's 3-0, I don't know, he knows Manchester United was playing, and he's like, you know what, we're just going to play it out. I have confidence in my abilities. So, this is very important. I think if Max loses this, he will call a re. If he loses, I think Viper is going to have the edge too. Yep, Viper has the edge. Max should call a re. Maybe? Yeah, he's going to call a re. Okay. So, it's understandable that Max would call a re there. That means they're going to redo this one. And the reason being is he has no scouting info, and his map isn't great. The only situation where I'd see a player continue to play there is if they had an amazing map, and he just doesn't. Okay, so we're going to load up another game, same civilizations then. All right, so it's... Oh, I see Rashford scored. Okay, so it's 1-1 in the derby right now. So we have how many people here right now? We have 1,500 people. And it's an amazing community, a community that is growing, people that are coming back to the game, people that are finding the game for the first time. I'm so happy to have so many people here. So we have a ton of people lurking. Even though the chat's moving, we have a ton of people lurking, I'm sure. So what I would like to do is I want you guys to type where you're from in the chat. Because it's amazing how we have so many different people from so many different areas of the world here. And the one common thing is that we love Age of Empires 2. I want to see... The chat's going to blow up. I love this. See, that is amazing right there, guys. That is amazing. Can't even follow that. Well, you guys are amazing. Even the North Korean in there, you guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting what I do, and I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna tear up, guys. I'm gonna tear up. All right. Well, we're gonna have game 4 now, and again, it is Britons and Burmese. There was a rehost for Max last time. and it was because Max had a bad start and lost his scout. So Max has not really had the best performance in this game, to be completely honest with you. Or this series, he has not been as solid as we've seen him in the past. And I don't know if it's nerves, but there were games where Viper deserved victory, but there were also games where Max kind of slipped up and gave Viper an opportunity. I was listening to Tato talk yesterday, and he said that he thought Viper would sweep Max. He said Max is overall good at everything, and he rarely makes mistakes. And, well, Max made some mistakes here, and Tato also noted that it's so hard to beat a player in best of 7 that when you make a mistake, he punishes you immediately. And that is the Viper here. This game is a beautiful game. You can play it at all levels. You can enjoy it at all levels, but it is so complicated at the expert level. So even the guys who, Viper would beat 100-0 at the 2K level, they are still amazing players, but we just are spoiled with the top 4, top 5 we have continually getting to the top here. So it's Britons for Viper, and this map is very nice for him. I mean, we've seen him wall and take advantage of walling in the past. He can wall here. And if he does that, the worst gold for him is his freaking main gold. And even then, he could wall here and here. But Max is going to get his lane. Max is going to lane. But quick note, Viper has this gold, and this stone in his base. If he walls there, take 3 walls. Absolutely unreal. The T90 hacks, the map hacks from Viper. Yep, Max has run too far away from the boar. That's the struggle. With the scouts are faster than the boar. You'll often see eagles, when they lame, be a little bit easier at getting it back. He needs to be careful. Viper's not going to chase him, so this is a freebie. And if the boar gets another hit or two, this scout is dead. But I think Max should be fine now. He'll pay a little bit more attention. I don't know if I mentioned it already. In this game, I mentioned it in the one that Max called Arian, but Max is the Burmese. And as he walks by, we can point out the things on his map. He has both stones in the same area, nice cliffs where he can wall. That would wall in that gold, though it can be ranged over the cliff. And then he has a nice back gold. And this map, it's actually pretty good for Max, but it's not as wallable as what Viper has, because this front area is all exposed. But that's what Max wanted last game. That's what he wanted. That's what he went for, and he lost his scout. This game, he has gotten the lame in, and he's stolen one of Viper's boars. How will Viper deal with it? Really, it's no problem, because it's 140 food for each reindeer here, and boar is 340, 350. Don't judge me, guys. Don't judge me. There's a lot of information in my brain that gets confused. But anyway, certainly 3 times 140 would make up for that. And he should be fine. Not to mention he has all of his sheep as well. And good scouting on his base. He's aware that boar ran away. It was over here. He didn't even react to it. Six Bree, thank you for subscribing to this stream, man. I hope you're having a nice day today. And I think Viper will go for the Drush. He will go Fast Castle. And then he will go Crossbows. And he will abuse the Britain range. The Britain range that he so loves. Now, I don't often do this. This might confuse you. But if you have the time to write this down or just remember this, you definitely should check out Viper vs. Yo in T90 series, which will be coming back, by the way. T90 series is a no-wall mod tournament, or it's a best of 7 anyway. And the very last one I did was between the Viper and Yo. And it was with AOC, not with the expansions. And Viper had Britons in that game. And it is probably... Well, if you like Gold Rush, first of all, it's the best Gold Rush game I've ever seen. But it is probably top 5 in best 1v1s I've ever seen in my life. So go check that out. And here's the Drush for Viper. We've seen it before, where someone drushes, they try and delay, wall up, gets a Castle H. And Max, well, hold on a second. He's going forward. Will Viper see a Vil? Oh my god. Oh! No, Viper doesn't see that. It was almost like he was looking for it for a second. But luckily for Max, he brought this villager back around. And he's going this way. But Max has good scouting. He got his scout over here. He sees the walls going up for Viper. And he's going to try and pressure this. Viper still has not clicked up. And oh man, the Viper has to know for sure that he's getting forwarded now because his opponent's on stone. And he might be able to wedge this villager in between the scout and the drush. And of course he will. Nice move from Viper to block the pathing there. So the reason I like Britons is because they have fantastic archers. They have... And that's the one weakness of the Burmese. Because the Burmese, if they do get Aaron by at some stage, which may or may not happen depending on how this forward goes from Max. If they get the Aaron by, they only have 5 range. And then the crossbows will have 8 range for Viper. But there's still a lot of game before that happens. Viper has gone early to stone. So this was not part of the plan. He was not looking to go longbows. He was actually probably going to add a ton of farms, right? But now he's adapted. Based off what he's seen. He didn't even see the forward villagers until just now. And he can't build a tower now. So this is an opportunity for Max to build as many towers as possible because his opponent cannot stop this. And Viper trying to build a house there. He might assume that there is a tower going up and he's just going to try and wall these villagers from running in further. And this could be successful for Max. He's going to have 2 towers up before Viper hits feudal. And, you know, Viper wanted to do a lot more than this in the feudal age. He did not want to defend with towers. If your opponent's doing this strategy, this is what you need to do to them. Viper's drush not really doing anything at Max's space for what it's worth. Now Viper is going to need to build that defensive tower, and here you go. Now this tower does range some of Viper's stone. He has the golds in his base. His other stone is out here if he needs it. But this tower is beautiful for Viper because it stalls the push from Max. However, Max still has an opportunity for good map control. Yeah, I love how Britanix is in the chat. Britain fan watching Viper play Britons. What is this from Viper? What is he planning here? I believe he wanted to run out with his vills for a second. I don't think Viper should be concerned. Whoa. I'm sorry? I don't think this is a decision we would normally see Viper make. But he's making it because he's currently up 3 games. He has gold in the back. So if he was worried about losing the main gold, that doesn't make any sense. He has an archer range as well. This is odd, but it's going to push Max away. It's not like he's going to lose the... Oh, he's going to send the drush in as well, but... Normally, you don't see Viper commit to fighting with so many villagers. But I guess if your opponent is going with so many villagers forward, and that's literally what their attack is made of, it wouldn't be such a bad idea to try and pick them off, and Viper might get a couple vill picks here. But still, this is peculiar. These vills will get back. Viper chasing with these. Maybe he can get in the hill and kill this guy. If he pays attention. Well, that's certainly funny stuff. Oh, Viper? Oh my goodness gracious. Forget the metagame. Viper's just going to counter Trush. This is a situation where he doesn't need to do that either, but he's going to counter Trush. But it's actually a brilliant move because Max doesn't have a lot of resources, and any stone he gets, he wants to build forward. And Max just missed Viper's villagers there, so Viper's just going to tower Max's stone. Oh, Max is towering his stone already. But I have to say, that was not expected. I like it, though. I think maybe the reason Viper's doing this is because he foresaw the fact that Max would do this tower defense and just try and boom to castle. And maybe that's why. Maybe that's why Viper's doing this. And maybe it's not where he's messing around. But I still think with his civilization, it wouldn't have been awful to simply stop the Trush in its tracks and then boom to castle and then go crossbow. So this will mix it up for us a little bit. There's another tower going up for Max with the other villagers he sent forward. Now Viper's actually building a tower here because he knows this one will probably die, and he wants another tower that will be slightly out of range of Max's and will still keep him off the stone, which is a brilliant move. Absolutely brilliant move from Viper. Longtime YouTube lurker. Love your streams. Welcome, man. That is a meta counter. Yeah, I think to an extent, but the crossbows are as well, right? You're going to have a stronger economy in Viper's shoes. So I'm not saying this won't work for Viper. I'm just saying that it's not a route that Viper normally takes. Let's see, he's going to garrison. Now, Max can batter this one down, but if Viper repairs this and uses this tower to attack those vills, the vills are going to get very weak. And yes, Max having to run away because he hasn't killed this tower yet. Now Viper just going to run right back on over here. He's actually killed a villager. He's built a counter tower on this wood line. He hasn't lost any builds to this, and he actually will struggle for wood if he doesn't move his way down here. And Max is still here with one villager. Let's look at the amount of resources players have banked up. This is kind of back to my point. Viper doesn't have a lot of resources banked up now. And he is going down to this wood, a wood that Max has scouted. Max knows this wood is not being collected. He knows this wood is not being collected. Maybe he will try and tower this one. Viper has a lot of vills on stone at the moment, so I imagine he is going to be able to build more defensive towers if he wants. He continues to tower this to keep Max away from stone. And that will actually keep his wood line safe. Also, Viper collecting gold without building a mining camp out here. If he really wanted gold, he can slide his way back there. I think Viper's in a much better position now. He's being a pest with these villagers on the front. Needs to be careful with them because he has some weak ones. I don't know how that villager took a full volley of arrows and only lost 1 HP or something. Like, look at all the weak ones. Who else forgets about their villagers and only has... and keeps them all alive on 4 to 5 HP. Okay, there we go. That just makes people feel better about themselves, because I would not be as lucky. Don't know what Max's plan is from here. Viper needs to protect his gold. Max has a vill here, and Viper's like, yep, you know what? We're gonna fight. You picked the wrong town to build towers in, woman. Yeah, she's gonna get battered down, I think. Unless this wall goes down. Oh, hold on. Viper's actually running into Max's tower. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. Viper just ran into Max's tower. So it's even again. Do it. Come on. Well, you can do it. Oh, she's out. Oh, she's so clutch. She's so clutch. That's hilarious. Viper ran into that tower. He's trying to be cute. Viper has stopped towers at Max's base. Small amounts of military. He just built some spears and skirms. And I don't know. I don't think Max is completely out of this game. I think if he can get to castle now and go Aaron by, Viper does not have the momentum of archers, and Viper's lost a lot of crucial map control. So I think that when Viper came forward, Max is probably feeling pretty good about himself there. They're still building some towers, though, so that will delay any castle he wants. He's buying the stone as well, so I keep forgetting about the fact he doesn't have stone that he can actually collect. And this is a tower that will not work for Max. Viper covering all his bases here. Gonna kill a vill. Nope! Debated. But good thing for Viper is he has this wood. He has gold in the back of his base, which he is now collecting. He's still on this gold, though, which is so peculiar to me. He has so many vills on gold. Look at this. Half of his economy is on gold, it seems. So there's going to be some imbalances there. And Max is going to get his stone back after he batters down this tower. A messy, messy fourth game. I'm kind of hoping, for the sake of the series, that Max is able to get a victory. Oh, look at this tower. He was trying to build this one earlier. I saw he stopped building it. Look at this tower from Max. Beautiful move. He's going to kill a vill. The Viper is forced to build so many towers here. And this is all because he went forward, in my opinion. He could have towered this all much earlier. He could have had archers. He could have stopped all the vills running around. Viper's kind of made this messy for himself. I think it could have been much easier. But, it's fun for us, right, chat? The vill's going down to Max. Not saying Viper doesn't have the lead, but certainly not as much of a lead as he would have had otherwise. How often do you see Viper with 800 gold in the feudal age building a market to buy resources? Not very often, I'll tell you that much. But he's going to buy his way to castle. Max already has his market. He's thinking the same exact thing. You can tell that Max is either frustrated or just not on his A game, because look at these idols. 3, 4 actually idols. And still buying stone. Well, Viper should hit Castle Age first. He is clicked up to Castle Age. Maybe he will treat us and go Longbow. No, he's not on stone any longer. And I think Max is just going to be too far behind to the next stage. And these towers he is building are defensive towers. Who is this Chad T90 keeps talking to? Chatter. You're in the chatter, Sir One Shot. This is peculiar, though. So Viper has one archery range. He's just now building his blacksmith. There's the other archery range. We're going to get to see the crossbows. But with Britons, if he collects a little bit more stone, he can build so many TCs. It'd be insane. You can build a TC here. You can have a TC on wood and gold, which is what you always want. You could always go for a siege workshop here as well, just to kill these towers. Now, one good thing for Max is Viper doesn't have a lot of military that he can send out and counter, and the form of military that Viper will be sending is going to be crossbows, and crossbows die to the towers. So while Viper is skilled enough to be able to pick villagers off next to the towers, it'll at least keep Max safe for now. And Max is on his way up. Viper has a minute and a half head start. Max does have the stone. He has 2 mining camps collecting stone here, both of them protected with towers. 5 villagers here, 5 villagers fit in each tower. 5 villagers here, 5 villagers fit in each tower. I believe that's intentional. Still has very annoying map control on Viper's main gold, but unfortunately for Max, it is not like the very first game of this series, where there are other golds out here. They are all in the back of Viper's base. Viper is extremely lucky at times when it comes to maps. We say that though, and the truth is he just knows how to make a bad map or a decent map very, very good. And he's going out to this stone so he can build TCs in a moment's time. So here are the crossbows. There are weak vills in here. Viper might try and sneak right past here and snipe a vill. I mean, why not? Max hasn't realized yet. There we go. See, Max has jumped in the tower, but he didn't get all of his vills in there. I think he's fine though. He could buy the stone if he wants, build the castle. Just a matter of where he builds it. What is this? Oh, he just built that tower, I guess. Max has had more idols this game than I've seen from him. Honestly, like, ever. He's building siege workshops here. Oh my goodness. He's building the double siege workshop. Building the stable, waiting for that castle from Max. Viper is idling Max's already fragile economy with these units. He wants to send a few away so he can scout around the map. Viper is on 3 town centers now, so his vill count is only going to rise. Going with his own siege workshop because he sees 1 from Max, but he doesn't know about 2. It's very hard to afford siege out of 2 siege workshops. But Max is probably going to go for a strong Mangonel push, and maybe he wants to castle this. I don't know. He hasn't castled at home yet. It's got to be so difficult to follow these crossbows. See, Viper can just sit here and delay all those farms. I honestly feel like Max wants the castle to go on the front. Yeah, there we go. And he wants the siege to go forward, and he wants to defend with as little as possible at his own base, which is why he's just making 1 knight with very few upgrades. Viper sees the castle going up. He doesn't like that. Doesn't like that at all. And now Viper's going to see 2 Mangonels and think, okay, maybe I can deal with that. Oh, 3 Mangonels? Okay, this sucks. This isn't good. So he's going to need his own, and it's on its way. The towers, though, are so good for Max. He's going to need to repair these Mangonels. I meant to say the towers are good for Viper, sorry. They're not good for Max. And Viper should get this kill. Oh, Max sees it. But no, he's unable to get a shot off. Oh, this is dicey for Max. Both these Mangonels so close to going down. This one's going to get away. The other one going to go down. Oh, man, he almost lost that too. Crossbows for Viper. Oh, my goodness. He's killed 4 villagers underneath the TC. Look at the vill difference now. And Max will slowly lose these towers, so Viper can take that stone and that wood again. So now we're going to get to see the Arambai if Max has the resources for it. I doubt he's going to be able to do too much without all the gold at his own base. Yeah, he's still booming behind this as much as he can. He is behind by a lot, though. And this push, though it is exciting, though Viper might lose this push on the front, well, Viper has all the gold in the back, so he's on both of those golds. I doubt he's too worried about it. What he is worried about is the Aaron buy. I can tell you that much. Max hasn't created any just yet. Yeah, we have so many people watching these games. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Alright, well. It's gonna be so difficult for Max to do anything. He needs to mass Aaron buy. He needs favorable Maganel trades. Lucked out there. I thought he was gonna lose that. And Viper's pushed forward. He's killed more villagers with the crossbows. And again, same as games before where Max goes forward, but Viper's able to afford to go out on a counterattack. And Max doesn't have a siege workshop back here. He has two that are forward. I think he probably should have built one at home because he's not even creating out of these two now. But yeah, Viper, he's in full control here, guys. It might not look pretty, but Viper is in absolutely full control, cruise control right now, with closing in on the 30 villager lead. Building a town center, actually, on that stone. And I fear for Max. It really is a shame. If he gets swept, it really is a shame. A Viper even finding this TC. It's a shame because Max has played so well in this tournament. You never want to see a guy play that well, go so far, and get swept. But it's looking more and more like the sweep now. A Viper just using small groups of units at times to find out what his opponent is doing, stop his opponent from building out his economy. And here, he's even paying attention enough to know the Maganels are coming over. That guy, unfortunately, is going to pay the price, but Viper's going to get away with this one. And Aaron buy finally coming out now for Max. But Viper has crossbows with ballistics that have 8 range, while the Aaron buy do not have ballistics. They miss a lot, and they only have 5 range, and he can't afford upgrades. Let's see if Viper's going to show us his famous micro here. Using the range over the Maganels. Nice little splits. There's another Maganel coming in on this side. This is like the highlight reel that started my channel here. Look at this. Viper has killed 2 Maganels, and he's going to make no mistake and finish off this one as well. Nice attack rounds from Max, though, just to get some more value. But Viper, he's going to kill 3 Maganels for the price of maybe 5 to 6 crossbows, and wasn't really troubled by that. You know, you give a guy who can already micro down Maganels extra range with Britons, and it's going to be trouble for you. And these are just the small things that top players do. Like Viper now, he has this one crossbow sitting here, just to make sure he sees it if the TC is going to go up. Now Viper is going to make a mistake, and he's going to lose these Maganels to the Aaron buy. But now he knows they're coming. And he's on his way to the Imperial Age, and Max is nowhere close to the Imperial Age. And these Aaron buy get chewed up, man. Yeah, absolutely destroyed. The Viper's putting himself in a position to treb this down, because he'll have a castle there. It'll allow him to take that gold safely again. Quick walls to make sure he doesn't lose villagers. But even if he does, he's 31 villagers ahead. Such an advantage over Max in map control. And this is so bad for Max that I think... You know, you look at the score difference... What? You look at the score difference, and then you're going to see Viper and Imp, and I think Max might call it when Viper hits Imp and say, GG, good luck next, because Viper looks unstoppable here. Cohenskink, thank you for 11 months of subscribing, and screw you too, man. That hurts. I just don't see what Max can do. You know, Aaron buy aren't going to cut it. Maganels will do nothing when the castle's here. Max is going to see all of this. And he's a top player. He knows the situation is bad right now. And I think he's going to fear the worst. He did actually get chain barding for his knights, but he only has 1 stable, so I'm not sure. Maybe that was there for enemy Maganels. I truly don't know, but there's the Imperial Age for Viper, and there's the GG from Max, and it says good luck in finals. And Viper, as most people thought, is advancing to the final versus Leary. That was my prediction. I said Leary was going to go all the way through to the final. Viper's going to go all the way through to the final. There were some big surprises in this tournament leading up to this semifinal. Max took out, he has a lot to be proud of. He took out MBL, he took out Licks, he took out Slam. And I know a lot of my friends thought that Slam would actually be facing, or maybe MBL facing Viper in this stage in the semifinal. But everyone, it's a 4-0 victory for Viper. But Max gave us some great games in this series, and he went a long way versus a lot of players that people didn't expect he would have beat. So obviously, congratulations, Viper, but let's give a congratulations to Max as well, because he put on a show, and I really hope that, seeing as he's primarily a team game player, he does put some more training into 1v1s, because I can't tell you the last time I've seen him play a ranked 1v1. I've casted thousands of his team games, though. Okay, so let's look at the achievements, guys. I have a little bit of a heavy heart, because I hate to see any player get swept like that. But Viper totally deserves it. There's the KD. Again, one of those games where Viper takes early victories. Max tries to get early victories, but in risky fashion, and he did not work out. Just so much more eco for Viper. This is basically the outro for every single game of this series, I think. And the rest didn't matter. The rest did not matter at all. Doug's the Savior, thank you for the 100 bits. Geo Waypoint says, excellent casting, especially with